social butterflies. Let's play with that lighting a little bit, right? It's like hitting right in my eye. Welcome back to this episode. I hope you don't mind people scraping ice off their cars and having the dump trucks come by because it's trash day here in my neighborhood. So welcome back, guys. I figured we are wrapping up the end of the year and we need to start really taking a look at our resolutions and what we want to leave behind in 2020 and what we want to take with us or change in 2021. I had a friend that had actually told me to do a segment on my show, and I actually just spoke with two of my friends from my media group and said, hey, based on the guests that you're having for this week, why don't you talk about what you've been going through? So, light bulb, wait. A light bulb went off in my head, and I was like, that's a great idea. So, people that are close to me know, well, I piss and moan about it all the time, but student loans are ridiculous. I mean, thankfully, I am in a position financially because of my job to afford my student loans, but it definitely takes a toll on just like my overall quality of life. So I really sympathize with the people that really don't have that much wiggle room to do everything that they need to in life, right? So I, up until last month, was paying $900 per month. Yes, in student loans. So shoot me now. It's so ridiculous that we are subjected to this, but yet all these big corporations are getting tax cuts here and there, but yet their employees are getting taxed out the wazoo. Do you know what a wazoo is? Yeah, and it's just ridiculous, and I think it's so stupid, and it's been a struggle of mine for the last few years to keep up because never, ever, ever incoming college students get a loan from Chase and then they sell it off 3 or 4 times, and because my loans were private, I was getting charged principal and interest on every single fucking loan, and they refused to consolidate mine. So that's why I am in the mess that I'm in, because I'm paying an extraordinarily large amount. If you guys know that Austin Powers reference, yeah, I've been paying all this, and I'm sorry, I graduated in 2007, like 2007. And I just think it's like absolutely ridiculous. But I will tell you, I've been partnering with my guest for today, Mello. She's based in California. She actually owns her own credit repair company. She was a featured commercial break, little sponsored person of mine earlier in this season, and she's amazing. I absolutely love her. We've gotten closer over these last few months, not only through the Legendary Media Group, but she's been assisting me with my credit because there was a few gnarly things on my account that shouldn't have been there. She disputed them, and literally boom, within a month I went up 84 points on my credit score. So I always shout Mello out, but I gotta do that right now too. So anyway, blah, 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 I got 50 million things going on. Right now, if anybody is watching this that has a 401k that is balling on a budget like me, you can actually cash out some of your 401k if you are under 59 years old. Sorry, what is this little rat tail? Anyway, you can cash out some of your 401k right now through the CARES Act, hardship, whatever, is going to be best suited to your financial needs without getting charged the penalty fee. This is huge because I think would get charged at least 20% if you withdraw early. So I ended up taking $15,000 out of my 401k because I felt like that was a good amount, and I still have a healthy 401k that it's going to continue to grow. So I will be able to retire one day. And I paid off 2 of the companies that I pay every single month. So now I am left with one last company, and I'm going to be paying them $400 a month, probably until eternity. But that is huge. I mean, just to take that off, and I'm going to get, the federal and the state tax off the top right away, over and done with. And I don't have these bills looming over my head every single day. I don't know, and I can't talk about it too much because I'm going to jinx myself, but I have been looking to buy a house. And I feel like if I just have that money freed up, I can either save the money, invest it towards a mortgage, but this market is absolutely ridiculous, so I might have to rent a little bit longer until I'm able to outbid people by like tens of thousands of dollars, because that's what's happened to me for the offers that I've put in on homes. Like we're talking like $40,000 over asking. I don't know who can compete with that. Not me, single white female. Not the like weirdo stalker kind though. Yeah, that's like, I'm telling you my whole personal financial life story. But yeah, I think about all the times that I like spent money on dumb shit and I'm like, oh, I could have invested it somewhere else. And here I am. Just living my best life with a bunch of material things. But I've had a lot of travel experience. Oh my God, now the light is like really moving. Should I go over here, guys? No, that's stupid. I'll go over here. Yeah, no, I've had a great life. Like, don't get me wrong. I've lived a very, very good life because I've worked very hard for it. But I'm like, could I have already owned a home by now? Probably. Do I really need to be spending $1,000 on my car between payments, insurance, and my parking garage? Probably not. But I love my car, so whatever. This sun keeps moving. It's pissing me the fuck off. I'm just gonna go right here. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about that. Ew, my teeth look yellow. And I got one thing on my teeth. And I just made it worse. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoy my interview, because Mello is not only talking about, financial stuff in this episode, but we're going to hear a lot about her life story. Growing up in Houston, now living in California in the Bay Area. I swear to God, and I say this about everybody, I don't know what she's not able to do. This woman is so talented, and you're going to hear a little bit about her life and how she has like 82 different businesses, licenses, just like a super rock star human being in general. And I absolutely love her. So I was like, gotta get her on the show. On my highly anticipated, highly rated show on YouTube. Yeah. And if you haven't already, subscribe, because my goal was to get to 60 subscribers by the end of December, and I'm at 58. So tell a friend to tell a friend. I just need 2 more subscribers. Like, let me hit my 90-day goal that I had for myself, please, and thank you. Yeah, that's it. I'm just being so annoying, and it's literally early in the morning before work, which is why this light is so ridiculous right now. But I hope you guys have a merry week ahead of you. I'm gonna hit you with my commercial break, who is also a lovely friend of mine. She's a fabulous human being, and figured why not highlight her on my show too. All right, so I'm gonna stop babbling and just get to it. All right, guys. Ew. Okay, I'm Casper right now. I'm just going to sit here for a moment, actually, and just let you enjoy the fact that you can only see my eyes, my nostrils, and my talking lips. I am so stupid. Okay, enjoy my lovies. This week's commercial break is focusing on the Fancy Success. So my friend Carnisha owns this company, among other companies, because she is also, like Mello, a super rock star. And she focuses on selling fox furs in all different styles, from headbands and earmuffs to vests, long coats, and she has really, really cute styles. So the Fancy Success, I think, started when she was doing her MBA at Cornell, if I am not mistaken. Should have done my research. But Carnisha, being such a hustler that she is, and always focused on being super successful and being a true entrepreneur, decided, I'm going to open up my own fur business. So she is so amazing. You should see the styles. And I will tell you, she works super hard, because not only is she the founder, the creator, the buyer, the model, the marketer, everything. So I definitely want you guys to go check her out on social media. Make sure that you show her support, buy one of her furs. And I will tell you, based on my luxury knowledge, luxury retail knowledge, I should say, that it's actually better to get real fur. So don't let PETA tell you otherwise. But to get real fur, because faux fur is actually petroleum based and they never will disintegrate. And it's actually worse for the environment than it is to own and wear real fur. FY in your eye, in case you ever did not know that. So I had to drop that fun fact for you guys. But do you want to save the planet or do you want to be one of those wasteful people? That was my Moira Rose impression, but it wasn't that good. But anyway, enough about me and my antics. Definitely check out Carnisha and the Fancy Success. And while you're on her page, you can check out her other brands as well. Hey everybody, with me today I have Mello Lisa Smiles, who is a multi-talented, multifaceted, amazing human being. Hey girl, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for joining me today. Of course, I love talking to you, so I want everybody else to get to know about you a little bit more. So thank you for coming on and taking this time to chat with me. I appreciate it.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Anytime. So we were just talking a lot off camera, and I do know Mello's life pretty decently, even though we've only met virtually, but she has a lot of talents. So you guys need to hear about it. So can you give us a quick rundown of all of your businesses and what you do professionally? And then we'll dive into each of them briefly to talk about it, because I really don't think that there's anything, like I just told you, that you're bad at. And I think that you have your hand in everything, because I'm like, when I get home from work, I'm like, oh shit, I'm tired. Time to go to bed. And you're like, nope, job number 2 starts. So yeah, so tell us a little bit about yourself, Mello.
Okay, so I'm Mello. I'm a radio personality. I've been working in radio for like over 10 years now. I'm a licensed hairstylist. So I'm licensed in California and in the state of Texas, where I'm from. I'm from Houston. What else? I own a credit repair company. I also do credit repair, but probably in the next couple months here, I'm going to transition to like just owning it and like making sure like just hire people and just have them working. I do have a couple people working right now for me. So that gives me more time to kind of focus on other things. What else? I'm married. I'm a wife. I live out in Cali. And what else do I do? I DJ.
Yes, and you have making it in the media. Yes.
Making it in media. I'm starting to do that more. So I have Mellow Nose. So yeah, like I have a couple of different things that I do.
Just a couple, no big deal. Yeah,
right.
No biggie. So let's get started about your DJ career, because you have been working that for quite a long time. What was your inspiration to get started? Did you just like one day say, you know what, this is what I want to do? Is it an obsession with music that just naturally translated? Like, how did you get started being in the industry?
More so just like an obsession with music. Like I always really, really liked music. So like when I grew up as a dancer. I professional dancing. I was a gymnast and stuff like that. And I did like competitive, like, so it was like a little bit of a different arena where you go around, you travel and all that other stuff. And so like I was like, man, I have this thing for music. And then when I got older, I was like, I really want to get into radio. And then I got into radio, and then I just wanted to like be more multi like faceted. And I was like a producer. So like a producer, you get to like pick the music and the vibe of the show and stuff. And like I was always picking like just really, really cool stuff. And I have like a really big like music library in my head. And ever since I was a little kid, I was one of those little kids where like I picked up on everything, and I like always listened to like 70s and 80s and 90s and like different genres. So like every time like someone would turn the station on, no matter what station they played to, whether it was rock, it was like hip hop, country, I would know the song and be able to like spit it out, you know? So people were like, what the hell? And I didn't know that it was a thing. I was just like, oh, you don't know? like the music either. And they're like, no, like you have a really, really good like understanding of like a variety of music from different genres, from different time periods. And I was like, okay. And then like I just was like, okay, I want to DJ. Like, cause I didn't know, like I knew what a DJ was, but I didn't know how I could put everything together. And it just made sense after a while, like, oh, okay, like this is something that I can do like myself, and I can like take it out, and I can do events, and I can do different like arenas, and I don't have to just do it at the station playing music. I can really make it into so much more. So that's what kind of got me into it. And I ended up moving. I had always like been interested. When I was living in Houston, I tried to like learn, but no one wanted to teach me. And so like people would be like interested, like, oh, you're cute, you know, that's cute or whatever. And I was like in my like early 20s, and I was like, oh, that's cute. And then when they realized like I was already working in radio and like I had like a background, people would get scared. Cause it was like, oh, bitch, I'm really, cause it was like, I'm not teaching you. Cause like, it's like, that's like the extra thing you need. And that's going to make you like, you're like, essentially you're going to surpass me. Cause it's like, okay, like, yeah, you do radio and you produce and stuff like that, but you do that over here on this station. It's like, if I teach you how to DJ, there's only so many DJs here in Houston. Like that's going to just make you my competition. So I was like, well, damn, you know, I just couldn't figure it out. And so, long story short, I had moved to Sacramento with my husband. We got married. We had only been married a month. And I seen that there's this DJ school that I had been looking at in LA that was like offering classes, and it was getting ready to start up like in like a week. And I just like, I talked to him. He had already been knowing, he's always, you know, we grew up together. So he's always known about how I am, my creativity. I want to move to LA and all that. And so I was just like, are you cool with me like going? And he gave me the okay. And so I moved to LA, and it just took off from there. Started learning how to like really DJ, all the, you know, figure out all like the stuff that I didn't know. And then I just started DJing.
What a journey. That is so amazing. Now, I do have to ask though, because this question was popping up. Did you like, how did you get into the radio station? Like, did you take a club in school that transitioned you to give you that skills? Did you just like blindly apply? Like, how did you just say, yeah, I'm going to work at this radio station?
No, like everything with me is like a random, like weird journey. So like, I'll make it short though. Okay. So I was going to school. I went to college, right? And I already knew what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to be in the creative, like arts and stuff like that. But my parents are African, they're West African, and they were not for it. So anyone who knows about like African culture or just like culture from like overseas, like when you have immigrant parents, most of the time they're like, you need to go to school and be like a doctor, a lawyer, a nurse, something that's like stable. And I was just like, that is so not me. And like, but I was always really, really good at school. So it was kind of hard to like combat that, because it's like, and I'm the youngest in my family. So it's like, you're the golden child. Like you have to like, you know, and I'm just like, so I went to college and I ended up double majoring. So I was like, I did social work and I did radio television. So I was like, okay, social work's going to be like the stable, you know, thing. And then radio is going to be like what I really, really want to do. So I did that, double majored, all that stuff. I got out of school. And what I did was I took a whole bunch of classes and stuff. So summer, all that, I was in class. I was doing my courses, but I wanted to hurry up and get out of college. So I didn't take an internship. And so if I would have took an internship, it would have made me stay in school like 6 months longer, or maybe actually a year longer, because you have to like leave school and go intern. And I was like, I don't want to do that. I want to finish school and get out. Well, I got out and I couldn't get a job in radio because I didn't have any experience. I didn't realize how important it was to do an internship. So I was like, damn. So I automatically was like, okay, I'm still young. I'm not married. I'm not dating anyone seriously. Let me go back and get my master's. So I went back and got my master's in social work because I was like, I'm already here. Might as well. So I did that. And while I was there, I was like, let me see if I can intern somewhere. So I talked to my teachers and I had to get special permission. Like, so this is like, I'm just explaining this because I really had to work and figure this out. Like it wasn't like an easy, just do it. So I had to get special permission because it's 2 different colleges and thankfully they're under liberal arts. I know this is going a little deep, but so the partner was like,
so I'm like, don't worry about it. I asked the question. I'm like, I want to know. So add all the details. Yes.
Yeah. So like the departments, they kind of know each other because it's kind of similar. They're both like, like English language arts and stuff like that. that. So I had to meet with both the department heads and tell them like the situation. Cause they were like, okay, if you're a social worker, you're here to get your master's, why are you trying to get an internship in radio? Like what's going on? And they could not figure it out. And it was like, but they knew me. So it's like, this girl's always so damn crazy. Like I was the one in class that like was just like always outspoken. And like they would literally be like, well, what do you want to do when you get out? And I was like, I want to move to LA. And it was like, what does that have to do with, what you're doing now? And I'm like, I'll figure it out. Like, I was like, I'm going to figure out how to, merge it. So long story short, I asked for permission. They were like, nah. And then I just kept asking. I wrote out like a detailed, like paper and stuff like that to them and just really requesting. And I was like, you understand? Because what was the situation was that I was in school and I was already taking like the max amount of hours that you can as a master's student. Okay. And that was going to add on like, so I think I was going to be taking like 16 or 19 hours, which is like really, really crazy. And that's why they didn't want to do it. Cause it was like, we don't want you to fail. And I was like, I'm cool. I'll be all right. And like, so they gave me permission. I did my internship and then I did really, really well in my internship. So it was at the radio station that hired me. First, they started me off in the sales department, which I was like, I don't know. I want to do sales. Like, I'm not here to like sell, whatever you're trying to sell. Like, I want to be on the other side of the building. Cause the building was like split and there was like a door that locked. And it was like, this was like, you would like see the door open and then it was like all like the, like all the radio stuff and like the DJs walking around. I was like,
I want to be on that side.
Right. Yes. And like the side I was on was like so boring. It was like all like the office spaces and the cubicles and stuff like that. And I was like, so like after like 2 weeks, I just like straight up told them, I was like, okay, I've been here for a little second. I was like, hey, look, like, I want to be on that side. Like I want to do radio. And like, they gave me to go ahead and do it. And then I just started from there, worked really, really hard. And like, less than about like right at 3 months, they went ahead and hired me as on-air personality. And
wow.
And it just took off from there. Like they gave me a chance to get on air and I was like, oh, yeah, like now I'm about to do it. So when I got on air, I just did really, really good. So they were like, oh, okay. So they gave me my own show. I just started going and growing like from there. And they just kept giving me opportunities to do more and more stuff. And it just took off from there.
So you did all of that and you excelled clearly at that. And you're still doing it right now. When the hell did you become a hairstylist?
Like I became a hairstylist in 2016. I got licensed.
So why all of a sudden you were like, yeah, I'm going to go get that? Because it sounds like you're a forever student in like a good way. Not like, oh, okay, I'm dumb and I have to be in school forever, but you're like forever wanting to learn, you're a forever student, like both in school and out. So what was it that you were like, I want to go do hair now too? Like what?
I'm glad you asked that because, like that just, I could just tell like you're really like, you're thinking and you're like really into the conversation. But it's important because the reason why I decided to do that was because I always had like, a talent and a skill for doing hair and makeup. And people always ask me, I actually was doing hair and makeup for people like weddings and all that type of stuff before I got licensed. And so what happened was working in radio, because that's like my first love and everything like that. And I always tell people, you love radio. For the ones of us who really love radio, like you love radio, you're into it, but radio don't love you because you'll be in it. And they'll drop you in a second, move in a different direction. And that's certain, artistic lanes anyway, like if you're an actor or whatever, like, oh, we're going to go in a different direction. But what I realized was while I was being a radio personality, I was still in school. I was finishing up school and I was in a really awkward point where I was like, okay, I'm still young. I'm still a student, but I'm living on my own. I've lived on my own since I was like about 19, 20. And so I was like, I have bills. And radio doesn't pay like that sometimes. Sometimes you can get, a good opportunity or position, but at the end of the day, compared to like doing other things, it doesn't pay. And then what happened was when I was at the first radio station that I worked at, I was there for 4 years. Well, that company got taken over like 3 times while I was there. Wow. So, yeah. And so what that means is like when it gets bought out by someone. So what happened was it was I call it mom and pop. I always call it anything that's like a family business. I call it mom and pop, even if it's like a big business, just because it has that personal touch to it. So it was owned by a family. It was owned by a guy. He had passed away right before I got there. So like within that year or something. So it was owned by the family. Of course, after a while, I guess the family was like, they want to sell it or someone was like, let me come in and buy it. So every time a company gets taken over, that brings an opportunity where either they're going to keep the people that work there on, or they're going to get rid of everybody and bring their people in. And so every time the company got taken over, like it'll be a lot of turnover. Like, well, not really turnover. It'll be a lot of people that lost their jobs. And I always kept mine because I was really experienced. And while I was there, I made sure to learn everything. So it was like, oh, we could use her because she knows how to produce and board ops. She does traffic. She's an on-air personality. Like, so let's keep her. But I was like looking at the people who were there, and they were like, you know, older. They were like in their 40s, 50s, and 60s. People, you know, had mortgages. They had children in college, and they were just, all they had ever done was radio. And I'm like, you can't take that resume to too many places and, you know, and hurry up and get a job and get paid. And so long story short, I just was like, yeah, I need to figure out something else. Like I need to have something on the side that's going to always like feed me, and I'll always be okay. And so that's why I ended up going into beauty school, just because it was always an interest of mine. But I was like, let me get licensed, because if I'm licensed, just a pro tip out there for anybody: if you're a licensed as a cosmetologist, you'll be able to get a job all the time, no matter what, wherever you are. So, and that has always helped me. That's why, that's what made me move to LA. Besides the DJ school, like everything's interconnected that I do. Like, so besides the DJ school, that's what helped me get a job. Like once I got my license in California, because I had been sitting in like Cali for like maybe about 3 months waiting to take the test. And like once I got licensed, like literally the next day I got a job.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, like I applied, and like I applied to like, because I was like, okay, the last thing in my mind, I was like, dang, I feel bad leaving my husband. We just got married. And we guys had been dating and been together, but I was like, dang, we just got married. We're trying to settle in. And like, I was like, okay, I'm going to apply for jobs here in Sacramento, and I'm going to apply for jobs in LA. Whoever calls first, and like whatever way that goes, I'm just going to follow that path and like, no, like, okay. And so I applied for Sacramento, applied for LA. Next day, LA was calling me. And they wanted to do an interview that week. And so I got on a bus, because I didn't want to drive. So I got on a bus, and like I rode out to LA. I did my interviews. I rented a car. I checked some places out to see where to stay and all that. And then I came back, and then like before I could even get back to Sacramento, they were hiring. Both jobs hired me.
Wow.
And I picked the one I didn't have experience in, because I had already worked in like skincare and stuff before, but I had never done hair professionally. And I was like, let me just do that, because I want to learn. Like I want to challenge myself. And so I accepted it, and then it was on from there. Like, and it was like in a matter of like a week or two. So like I had a job, and I had the school I was going to. I didn't have a place to stay, but I just went, and like I figured it out.
And I love how supportive you and your husband are of one another, because if he wanted to do the same in his career, you'd be like, yes, go follow your dreams. So I love that you guys have that really strong relationship, that you're like, yeah, we've been married just a few weeks now, but I'm going to leave you after we already moved to this other brand new place and go chase this. You know, I just think that's so incredible, because it really gives you the chance to exercise all of your curiosities, challenge yourself in good ways, grow in good ways, because I think a lot of people like, and you'll see in older generations, like they're so complacent on everything because you were just told to have that stability and to have like the cookie cutter family and to be a homeowner, American dream. But so many people lose their passions or don't know what their passions are. So you now being in your 30s, because you're like, oh, 20s is so long ago, which it really wasn't, but it like at a 10-year snapshot, what you've accomplished in your life. Not a lot of people could say that they did that in that entire lifetime, you know? So it's like, you gotta like, give props to yourself for sure, because that's not easy. And I feel like it's a good way, because you're challenging yourself in so many different ways. I've never worked on the radio. Boom, there you go. I've never owned my own company. Now you have a credit repair company. I've never done hair professionally. Went out and did it. I went to DJ school. Now I'm a DJ. It's like, you just were like, no, I want to figure it out, like what's going on in this industry, what's happening in the world. And I'm going to put myself out there. Way too many people, because school costs money, because they are scared to move, or to like take that leap of faith. Like you're like, no, I'm embracing this fully. So I will say your parents should be super proud of you. So even though you're not working that traditional social work job, I hope your mom is like singing your praises every day.
Oh yeah, like she's like my biggest supporter now. But it's so funny, because she never wants to acknowledge like the beginning when she wasn't. And I was like, girl, like you were, it's okay. And I think it's important to like, I think it's important to just talk about not to her, but just like to just be honest about it, because it's not easy. Like, even though I've done all these different things, it certainly has not been easy. It's always like a mental like dilemma in your head. Like, am I doing the right thing? Because there's times where I was, going after what I was going after, and I wasn't making any money, and everybody's like looking at me like, why? Like, and I left my job with my 401k and making all this money and stuff like that. And it was just like, you left making thousands of dollars per month to barely making anything. And like, but it's like, you just know in your head, like, okay, I keep my head down. I do this for a couple months, maybe a year. And then like, I'll have all of this, so sometimes you have to just be able to do stuff. And like you said, like, I'm married and like my husband's very supportive, but there was times too where he was like looking at me sideways, like, so what do you want to, because he's military, so in his mind he's very like, very cut and dry, like black and white. And so he's just like, what do you want to do? Like, so how are you going to do that? And his thing is, so how are you going to make money? Like, it's just like, so you have to like be able to do it in spite of like all the noise, and everybody's like, and sometimes it's not like people hating, sometimes it is, but sometimes it's not that. Sometimes people are just like concerned and worried. And but you still have to go out there and do it. So yeah, so that, and then the only advice I can give as far as like, me and my husband being really supportive of one another is that it's definitely a journey. You definitely have to be patient with one another, and you definitely have to find your person, because if it wasn't him, I don't think I could do this with anybody else. And not that I even like really tried like that, but I obviously dated other people before my husband. He's dated other people before me, and it wouldn't be like that, So my husband is military. He's gone off, for his jobs too. He's deployed before, all that, and I've been supportive of him, and it's been, cool. So that's why he was able to be so supportive of me as well, because it's like, well, you've shown and proved that, you let me do my thing to build up what I need to do in my career. And it's just benefited us. We were like a team. So it's like, yeah, it sucks that we're not together for like 5-6 months, but you come back and now we're, able to get a house within like a year or two after that, because of the sacrifices you made. The experience you've gotten from that has put you in a position to where we can do these things together. So find your person. Don't be, I always tell my friends, do not let your little boyfriend stand in the way of your husband. Like,
and we were talking earlier too about doing everything that serves purpose, so being really focused and, why am I blanking on my words today? I can't even talk, but like, just like staying like super focused on the path that you want to do and do it with purpose. You're not just doing it because you're just like, all right,
it's popular.
Yeah, it's popular, or it's going to just pay my bills. Like, you need to find fulfillment in these things. So clearly you've like delved into different areas that you've been passionate about, and it's proven successful, because it's like, take a look at all of the stuff that you've done right now. And I want to jump in quickly and give you a shout out first for your pain-free solutions credit repair, because I had some issues on my credit statement I was a little like surprised about, and I reached out to Mello and was like, girl, I know you own this company, come help me out with this.
Yeah.
And thankfully she was able to write all the letters for me and dispute these things, and my credit report went up 84 points. Thank you, because of you. So I appreciate it. But having that financial literacy, I cannot talk. I need to eat some lunch.
Okay.
That's what it is. But but to have that financial literacy, I'm really starting to get into that as I'm like in the home buying process and trying to like figure that out on my own. I'm like, what do I need to know to move forward with this and to fix my credit, all that stuff. So how did you get started in that? So we have moved from like being on-air personality DJ, now doing hairstyles, and you're like, okay, now I'm going to have that financial competency aspect of it. Like, did that just come from like you on your own journey? Has this always been something that you've kind of like had interest in?
Yeah. So can you see me? Okay. So so like basically right before I moved to California, I didn't have like any credit knowledge, nothing like that. So this was like 2016. So I had no credit cards. I had one that my mom had gotten me, and I didn't realize like how to use it or anything like that. So thankfully I had it, because it was like I had been having it for a while. So the maturity rate on it was good. But I just didn't know anything about credit. I didn't have credit. I paid for everything in cash. When I got out of college, I was always making really good money. So, and I lived in like a smaller town in East Texas, so it wasn't super expensive. So I was paying for everything in cash. And I was like, I'm not a like a luxury spending kind of person. Like, I'm really good at spending my money. So like, but when I started like, becoming like a big girl and really needing stuff like to buy a car and all that, it was like, I don't have no credit. So all I have is student loans. So they don't have nothing to base off of and say like, yeah, you can pay for a car and everything will be fine. Cause that's what a lot of people don't realize. Credit, like anyone who's giving you a loan, that's what they look at. So before I moved, I just was like, okay, I need to start figuring this out. So I just slowly start figuring things out, started acquiring some credit cards. And then I had been in LA for maybe about like a year or so. And I had a lady fix my credit before I moved. And my credit wasn't bad, just like yours. Your credit wasn't bad. It's just that there were things on there, like I didn't know how to read my credit report. There was things that could be fixed as far as like how it was reporting. And so she helped me so I can get like a really good deal on my car. Cause I was like, I know I can get a car and I don't have to put no money down. And a lot of people don't realize that either. They like take all this money and they like save up $1,000 or $3,000 that they don't have. And they take it to the car companies and they give it to them as a down payment. And they don't realize like that doesn't do anything to your note. Like that's just money that they're taking. And it doesn't really change much, So your credit is a big factor. And like even my mom, she was going with me. I was getting the car on my own, but I just was like, my mom's she's like a hustler. Like she know how to talk and like, make stuff happen. So I was like, all right, I need you with me. And like, but even she kept being like, you can't get a car without a down payment. And I was like, yes, you can if your credit's good enough.
Watch me.
Right.
Yeah, you're like, nice
so,
try, lady.
No, you're good. But like, yeah, no, so we did it. We finally found the car I wanted. And they were like, so what do you want? And it was so funny because like all the different dealerships I went to, like I just knew what to do because I had been working with this lady. I had been kind of like, looking, researching stuff. And so like, it was really like the ball was in my court. And I was like, this is what I want to give y'all. And they were like, okay. And like, even like I was like, this is where I want to stay at in my price range. I was like, I don't want to pay no more than $300. Like, that's it. Cause I knew that's what I could afford. Like if anything happens, I lose my job, whatever. I know just being a radio, you always just learn like you can lose your job. People started hitting me up to get their credit repaired. And just recently I started realizing that a lot of people were hitting me up to buy a house. And I was like, I'm gonna change my tactics. Like before I was like trying to help small business owners and like my niche was small business owners and creatives. And I was like, now I want my niche to be home ownership because that's just how the business was going. It made more sense, So that's what I'm doing right now. Like between this week and moving forward into the next couple of weeks, I'm about to transition and, redo everything on the site, on my Instagram and all that, just so like it's more cohesive and I'm helping, I'm just helping people. Like the biggest thing is like, I want to help people. That's it. I just want to help you. I want you to feel confident. I want you to be comfortable. And I want you to know what's out there and not be afraid because a lot of times we're not taught credit repair in school or nothing like that. Our families don't teach it to us. And then you're afraid of like credit. And it's like, it could really work to your benefit,
Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me and learn more about your story because it's always so intriguing. And I'm just like in awe of you every day. So.
Oh, thanks.
So many good things.
Same here. I know we've been on for like a long time and stuff, but I mean, hopefully it was good and I gave you what you needed and I'm happy you had me on. I really appreciate it. And you've given me so much motivation to like start doing my own like Zoom interviews and getting it going for like making it in media and all that. So yeah, thank you.
Of course, absolutely. I cannot talk. I'm like, man,
your grilled cheese.
I know, right? You guys, when I hung up by accident, I had to wait for it to reload. So I just made a grilled cheese. I still got half of it waiting for me to be eaten. That's all I could do. I'm like, I got to do a split-second lunch right now. But Mello, because I want everybody to go and support your businesses and to hear more of what you have to say, I need you to drop every single handle that you have possible. So if you don't mind letting my antisocial butterflies know all about you, where to find you, that would be awesome.
Okay, so Instagram is like the main place, and then it just will link you everywhere. But Mello Lisa Smiles, so MELLOLIZA. Once you type that in, you'll see me. And and then Pain Free Solutions is my my credit repair company. So PAYNE_free_solutions. And it has all the information there. And then as far as like making it in media and Mello knows, that's linked to my Mello Lisa Smiles as well. So then you'll be able to like, maneuver around and see what's going on. So yeah,
Navigate
please check me out.
Yes, everybody go and support her because listen, she could come do your hair, fix your credit, DJ your event that you got your hair done for, give you the herbs beforehand. Her husband can make you wings while you're doing all this stuff. I mean, we got lots of going on in the Payne household over there. So
you're so hilarious.
I'm like, we got to support you because, girl, there's nothing that you cannot do, right? You just told me you were going to go cook after this. So I'm like, man, you're amazing. So Mello, thank you again for taking the time to chat with me. And I hope to have you come back soon and tell us more about the Mello nose and the holistic journey that you're
Yes. Thank you. I would love to come back. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome anytime. Love you, girl.
Love you.
I hope you enjoyed my interview with Mello. Isn't she such a sweetheart? And I'm telling you, she does absolutely everything, right? Hairdresser, DJ, radio show personality, credit repair company, wife, daughter, rock star, badass. Like, come on. Come the fuck on. She's amazing. So if you guys need anything from her in all of those, if you need her to DJ a party virtually for you, or if you need to get your gnarly credit checked out, go see her. That's it, guys. So we're going to circle back to the first minute of my episode and tell me what are going to be your resolutions for this year. And it doesn't have to be like, oh, I'm going to achieve world peace and save, all animals and trees. No, let's start with baby steps. What are you going to do in 2021 that's going to change your life for the better? Drop it in the comments. Let me know if you ever want to talk about it, over the phone, in person, whatever. I'm totally down for it. I want to hold everybody accountable as much as I want you guys to hold me accountable for my resolutions. I didn't really tell you mine. My media group knows what mine are. We could maybe get into that in a later episode, but just tell me, what are your resolutions and how can I help you get to those resolutions? All right, guys, we're halfway through December right now, if you can believe that. It's so crazy. Well, not halfway, a third of the way. But are you ready for Christmas? Because I am! So exciting. All right, that was annoying, and I have to go to work, and I love you guys. And I will chat with you next week. Bye.